Hey, hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So, this is part two of the series of videos where we are building dashboards on SAP Analytics Cloud. The first dashboard that we are looking at is the sales dashboard for the regional sales managers as well as store managers. First of all, we will start with the data. Here, I have a sample of 10 sales orders that are part of the data set. You can see that these sales orders are arising from different stores within our Bharat-Mart organization. And then we have the products which are being sold. We also have the sales quantities, the net sales, and the cost of those goods that are being sold. Interesting thing to note that in the analytics world, every data field is categorized either as dimensions or measures. Measures are fields which can be aggregated to come up with key performance indicators. For example, sales quantity and net sales are primary measures here. Even cost of goods sold sales can also be termed as a measure. Similarly, we have fields like store ID, which are dimensions, product IDs, which are dimensions. So we will look at the SAP Analytics Cloud system, and you will see that once we upload this file in the system will automatically categorize some of the fields as dimensions and some of the fields as measures. We also have properties, which are another bucket of data fields, but we will look at in the system. So let's go ahead and log in into my trial account. So trial account is something that any one of us can create. So it's easy for you to actually follow this. I'll be sharing some of the documents and the presentation as well for your practice. So the first thing that we have to do is build the data model. Think of data model as containers as well as structures of data. So data model defines the structure and it can also hold the data. So we are going to go ahead build the first model. We'll start with the data. We'll go ahead and choose the file, and then we will let the system import the data and categorize our data into different dimensions and measures. So the SAP Analytics Cloud is working behind the scenes and trying to figure out what this data is all about. So here we go. As you can see, the Analytics Cloud has categorized our data into measures and dimensions. And as we saw, some of the fields like cost of goods sold, net sales, and sales quantity have been categorized as measures. And interestingly, it has also categorized latitude and longitude of our store ID as measure. But we all know that these are not measures, these are dimensions because they help us to convert the coordinates into geolocations on the map. So I'm going to change the category as dimension. And within the dimensions, we see the usual suspects such as store ID, city, region, product, category, and subcategory. Now, the interesting thing is about store ID, you can think of store as a dimension which has properties like city and region. Because honestly, store is inside a city and the city is inside a region. So the interesting thing in SAP Analytics Cloud is that you can group these properties with the store ID. And the way to do that is actually to create a new source, select the store ID and create the property from the source, and then select the city in which the store is located, select the region in which the store is located, and then add two interesting properties, which are the latitude, categorize that as the latitude field, and also add the longitude, categorize that as the longitude field. Perfect. Once we do this, you will see that the system goes ahead and creates a dimension table. This is under the hoods. SAP Analytics Cloud is figuring out all the unique store IDs within our dataset and store them in the dimension called store ID. So there are four stores. In the similar manner, we can also group products. So products are part of a particular category, and there are subcategories which are part of that particular category. So this is a classic example of how we can build hierarchies for the product. But before we can do that, we have to again add the properties for the product within the source. So we have category as one of the properties, and then we have subcategories as one of the properties. Once we have done that, we can go ahead and generate the dimension table. So now the system is identifying all the unique product IDs and it is merging it into one dimension table. So you can see there are six products that it has identified. Now we are also going to do an interesting thing. We are going to create level based hierarchy for the product. So as you can see, some of our products are part of staples category, some of them are dairy, and then within staples you can have spices or grains. So this is a classic example of building a level based hierarchy. So we go down here, we create a level based hierarchy. We say product level based hierarchy, and then we add the category as the first level, the subcategory as the second level, and the member is the last level. We go ahead and save. Sorry, before we save the model, we have some more things to do. So that is all about the dimensions. You will see a unique dimension here, which is date, which is a very powerful dimension, and it is already categorized as a date dimension in SAP. It is an inbuilt property within the SAP system where all the dates are categorized as date dimensions. On the right hand side, we can see some of the model properties. And an important thing to do here is to switch off the planning capabilities and make sure that this is only an analytics model. Now we will come to our measures. We see that the sale quantity, price unit, net sales, and cost of goods sold are our measures. Here, I want to add two calculated measures which are important for our dashboards. The first measure that we have to add is the margin, which is nothing but our profit. And we have to add the formula for the profit, which is nothing but the net sales minus the cost of goods sold. This is our first calculated property. We are also going to add the margin percentage, and then we are going to do the percentage calculation, which is nothing but the margin divided by the revenue, which is the net sales multiplied by 100. So that gives us two very important calculated measures that we'll be using a lot in our dimensions, in our dashboards actually. So let's go ahead and mark it here as the BI sales dashboard model. So now the system is saving the model with all the configurations and calculated measures that we have, and also the data behind the scenes that we have uploaded. So once we go back to the model structure, you can see all the properties have been maintained, and down below you can see here that all the data is also maintained. And interestingly, SAP has also added something called as a version, which is a very neat little dimension that adds a lot of value that we will see in some of our different videos. So our data model is ready, and I can also probably show you the star schema, which is the powerful structure behind any analytics dashboard. So in the next video, we will be going ahead and building our dashboard that we saw in our first video. So stick together and thank you for watching.